Hey guys, Reno here. I'm a filmmaker and photographer based in Ballito, South Africa, and in today's video we're going to be talking about whether or not you need a speed booster for your Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K. Now I'm not going to ask you to wait to the end of the video to get my opinion. I do think that you can go really far using only native lenses on this camera system and you're still going to get really good results. However, the speed booster does open up a few more options for you. For the purpose of this video, I compared the Panasonic 12-35 to the Canon 24-105 using the Metabones .64 XL speed booster. Now I shot a short narrative piece using both of these lenses, and let's take a look at that and you can see which one you prefer. Now in my eyes, there really wasn't much of a difference between using the speed booster and using the native lens. Speed boosters typically give you a couple of extra stops of light, and that's going to give you a shallower depth of field. However, making use of both of these lenses and shooting at 2.8, I felt like I got a very similar depth of field between the two, and I wouldn't necessarily say one was much better than the other. I did some further side-by-side testing to see if I was able to exaggerate the differences in the depth of field, and this is what I came out with. As you can see again, I really don't think there is much of a difference. Maybe there's a slight edge using the speed booster, but really not noticeable. Apart from looking at whether you need a speed booster system, I think between these two lenses they each had their pros and cons. I really like the way that you can constantly rack focus with the Canon, whereas the Panasonic system has a focus by wire system. I don't like this because you don't have a predictable and repeatable way to tell where your focus marks are going to be. Every time you turn that focus ring, it adjusts based on the speed at which you're turning it as to how quickly it's racking focus back and forth. One reason that I do prefer the Panasonic over the Canon lens was the focus breathing. The Canon lens had pretty bad focus breathing. Now I know that this isn't a lens review, but if I had to pick between those two lenses, I would pick the Canon because of its predictable focus system. Coming back around to the point of this video, do you need a speed booster or not? Now honestly, I think you can get away without one. I was actually surprised by the results. Going into this, I thought that the Canon was going to give me a shallower depth of field using the speed booster. However, I was pleasantly surprised at how similar the two images ended up looking. In summary, if you can afford a speed booster, I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. If budget is a constraint, there are a lot more options out there, and so keep your eyes on the market to see what you have available. The advantage to the speed boosters are that they open up a new set of lens systems that you can use, as EF mounts are really popular lenses. This gives you more creative freedom as you can play with different lenses to help create different looks. And of course, you always do have the option to use a native micro four thirds mount on the camera itself, and so you're not entirely discarding that second lens mounting system by buying the speed booster. The other plus is that the speed booster is going to buy you a couple of extra stops of light on those EF mount lenses, and that can come in handy in low light situations or when you're trying to create a more shallow depth of field. That is, however, not to say that you can't still create a great looking image using native micro four third mount lenses for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. As I found in the test using a native micro four thirds mount on the camera, you're still able to achieve a nice shallow depth of field and a cinematic looking image overall. And so I really don't believe that your filmmaking abilities are going to be limited by only being able to use micro four thirds mount lenses if you don't have access to a speed booster on your Pocket 4K camera. If you've enjoyed this video or found it useful in any way, give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can catch future videos like this. I'll catch you guys in the next one.